Good evening, everyone. My name is Cheryl Adams, if you don't know me, and I am the Executive Director of Souci. I want to first and foremost thank you for choosing to spend your time with us as we reflect on the 2022 year. We will be sharing some exciting updates and celebrate the growth we've had this past year. A couple of weeks ago, when we were preparing for this evening, we came across some old Souci newspapers, clippings, photos, and annual reports that we had kept throughout the years, and we came across this passage that was written in 1987 in their annual report, and I wanted to share it with you tonight. Souci means without worry and without care. Our primary goal is to help the disadvantaged persons of this community bring themselves to the point in which they have a carefree and less stressful life. By investing our time and efforts into building the self-respect of others, we are also creating an investment for this community. As I was reading this, I thought to myself how true this statement still is, has always been, even decades later. Because the community's investment in Souci, not just in this past year, but in the last 44 years, we have in turn been able to invest in the lives of our community members. Your support and investment in Souci is crucial to our organization, and it's why we're able to share so many exciting highlights from 2022. Operationally, we gained the most amount of Facebook followers in a single year. We have been voted best thrift store for the third year in a row in the Republic's Reader's Choice Awards. We had nearly 1,200 volunteer hours, which is equivalent to a part-time employee. We entered the 21st century by moving away from paper gift cards. We now sell plastic. They're reloadable and they make great gifts, just so you know. The office underwent a major renovation so we could add additional desk space, privacy walls, and sound barriers. We increased the types of items that we could recycle, bringing in an additional revenue stream and lowering our trash costs and environmental impact. In our no cost, which provides necessity items free of charge to those in need, nearly 2,300 community members received winter coats, shoes, or clothing at no cost. 234 individuals were able to receive steel-toed shoes in order to start employment. I want to give a special thanks to Centos, who donated over 700 pairs of brand new steel-toed shoes at the end of 2022. With the hiring of a new staff member, we are able to start communicating in Spanish and Portuguese, which led to a 69% increase in serving this demographics. In our low-cost program, which offers clothing, household items, and other donated goods at affordable prices, we had nearly 58,000 customer transactions, a record high for Souci. We had 31 additional discount clothing days, with most of those being our popular 25-cent clothing sale. In our employee development program, which hires those with employment barriers and works with each individual to bring them from crisis to stability, we launched Souci Build You. We hired 61 individuals. Of those, 34% of them were in recovery and found employment at Souci where they could be employed, but also have flexibility to continue focusing on their sobriety. 165 hours of employee development training, where employees were paid for time spent overcoming barriers or attending trainings on things like finance, empowerment, or soft skills. I look back on these achievements that had accomplished together, and it's easy to think of them as just numbers, but it's so much more than that. Each number represents a real person living in our community who didn't have to worry about clothing or if they would have the right shoes to go to work. These numbers represent individuals who were able to stretch their household income by finding affordably priced goods at our store, which is becoming increasingly important in our current economy. These numbers represent one of our employees who didn't have to worry about their housing or if they were going to have enough food. It represents an employee getting their license reinstated so they wouldn't have to worry about getting a ride to work each day. These numbers represent an investment in people. Each of these numbers is attached to someone that we invested in so they could start on their path to self-sufficiency. The word investment has a personal meaning to me when I reflect on my journey with Souci. On February the 6th of 1995, I was hired at Souci as a cashier. I was a busy mother of 3, later a mom of 4, and was looking for somewhere that would provide me with some flexibility in my schedule. Quickly after I started working at Souci, I realized how passionate I was about helping and connecting with people, especially at lunchtime. I eventually started working my way up to be the truck driver, which meant I was all over town in our bright yellow truck nicknamed the Duck. Then I was promoted to the store manager, the operations supervisor, and in 2008, I was eventually promoted to executive director. I never once thought I could be the executive director of Souci. Along the way, I have been fortunate to have many people in my life who believed in me and invested in my growth and helped me to become the leader I am today. I have been able to lead Souci through the 2008 flood, which happened a day after I was promoted, an ever-changing economy, the 2009 United Way fire, a pandemic, labor shortages, and all the daily events that happen at Souci. Because many of us know there is no such thing as a normal day at Souci. I am fortunate to serve such an outstanding organization that continues to invest in me, our employees, and our community members. One group of community members that devotes their time, talent, resources to investment of others is our board of directors. Souci is fortunate to have 15 dedicated community members who are focused on our short-term and long-term growth. And at this time, I'd like to invite Lindsay Kendrick, our board president, to the podium as she will be sharing some updates on our strategic plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Good evening, everyone. I am Lindsay Kendrick. I have been fortunate to serve on the board since 2018, and most recently as president for 2022 and the upcoming year, 2023. In my spare time, you might find me at Central Credit Union, where I find my role is very similar to what we are doing here by creating value for our members, our team members, and the communities that we serve. So I do want to give an overview of our strategic plan and what we have been dedicated this past year for. So over the past several years, Souci has experienced tremendous growth. And while growth is a great thing, especially for a nonprofit organization, it comes with its share of challenges. For example, we have experienced record numbers of physical donations, which is wonderful in terms of potential for our low and no cost programs. It also means we needed additional staffing, more volunteers, additional space, and even expanded operating hours. Managing through these challenges takes strong leadership and financial support too. You can see that in each way we grow, we face new obstacles along the way. Staying organized and purposeful with the way we work isn't always easy. Every day at Souci, there are challenges and opportunities, but we simply cannot go full speed on everything all at once. So in late 2021, as we were all still dealing with the difficulties resulting from the pandemic, we quickly realized that we needed to get better focused on our opportunities and potential for even more growth. We were focused, but on many things all at the same time. Cheryl, her leadership team, and the board of directors got to work, thinking very critically about the most important things for the organization and our community. While we talked through our needs, our challenges, and wishes, we had numerous meetings and discussions and debates to figure out exactly what we needed to do and how we needed to do it. Last summer, we concluded our strategic planning project, which laid the groundwork for how we would prioritize our efforts moving forward. At our annual meeting last June, we first introduced the results of our project and the 4 major areas of development for the organization. The initiatives we selected are leadership, facility, finances, and programs. Having this plan has let us focus on the top things that we can improve upon to help ensure that we have a strong organization, not just next year, but long into the future. We know that the needs within the community continue to grow, and we are committed to our mission to help those who need us most. I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about each of these areas of focus and share our progress and plans for the coming year. So in leadership, Souci is very fortunate to have a strong leadership team. I will challenge anyone to find a more dedicated and committed group of people who show up each day and give it their all. That said, we all know there are only so many hours in a day. While Cheryl's army is small and mighty, there are always opportunities for continued learning and professional development. Over the past year, great work has been done on defining roles of the leadership team, understanding professional development goals, and identifying training opportunities for the team. There has been some turnover, which has presented some challenges as retraining has been ongoing to ensure all the critical functions are covered. The leadership initiatives was designed to help with this development by helping staff members with training opportunities to improve their skill sets. In addition to the leadership staff, the board of directors plays a critical role in the success of the organization. Another goal of this initiative is to continue having a strong board with professional and personal diversity. We are continuing to find individuals to participate in each of these initiatives to support the work being done by the board and the leadership team. Facility, which is a big one. At our current Souci location, space limitations in the donation center, store, and office often limit our ability to operate as effectively and efficiently as we would like. As we continue to grow as an organization, our focus on facility is even more important so that we can best serve our community. While we all believe growth is very good, we do have challenges today, like limiting our size of volunteer groups because of space constraints. This past winter, we took our first big step in addressing our long-term facility needs by leasing a 5,000 square foot warehouse. This warehouse is used for donation overflow and has accommodated large groups of volunteers to sort and process donations by allowing us to get goods out on the floor sooner. Our facilities committee is exploring and is working to understand our needs and long-term plans for the right space to benefit Souci. Our goal is to have an accessible and safe place for our employees, clients, volunteers, and guests. Finances. Unlike any other agency, Souci is unique because of a strong reliance on thrift store sales for operating revenue to support our programs. While we are supported generously by United Way and other donors, a large portion of our funding is variable. We have selected to focus on fundraising as part of our third initiative to ensure we have stability for our operating costs and program funding long-term. We will take a deeper look at funding needs and sources and develop a robust and sustainable plan for fundraising on an ongoing basis. While we have started this work by developing a database of supporters to better understand their communication preferences so that they can better utilize forms and communication for our campaigns and fundraising activities. In programming, today Souci offers 3 programs to the community: low cost, no cost, and employee development. These programs are the core of why we exist. Over the past year, our biggest accomplishment has been the launch of the program extension called Souci Build You. Courtney will talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but I wanted to first say how excited we are for its success and how proud we are of the employees who have been participating. Our initiative around programming is aimed at evaluating our 3 programs, implementing improvements to each. While each of our programs are extremely important, our goals over the next couple of years are focused on our most impactful program, employee development. We will evaluate this program to better understand employee needs and implement ways to best serve those needs. We will explore tools and resources to help the program maintain flexibility as it continues to grow, including strengthening existing community and agency interactions, and finding new community partnerships. To close, I want to say, what an amazing year. It has been a very busy and rewarding year for Souci. If everyone who has been involved in any of these initiatives would please stand to be recognized. Yes, Jen, Carl, Arturo, Linda, my whole board should be standing up, and the community members. James. We have there's several people that are not here today, and that might have been a little reserved to not stand, but there's a lot of work and a lot of people involved to get this done. Like I said, there's been a lot of work and time invested in these initiatives, and you can see there's a lot of board and community members involved in helping Souci grow. One of our biggest accomplishments was the launch of Souci Build You, and I would like now to introduce Courtney Faust to share an update.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Lindsay. As Lindsay said, my name is Courtney Faust, and I have had the pleasure of serving as the Community Outreach Coordinator for the past 6 years. I always say that I have the best job, because I really do, because part of my role is to share about Souci and what programs we offer to our community and how we invest in those who live here. One way that we invest in the lives of our community members is through our newest program, Souci Build You. That was launched in July of 2022, and I am excited to share an update about this with you here today. So at last year's annual meeting, we announced that after 4 years of research and hard work, we were ready to launch Souci Build You, which is an extension of our employee development program. Souci Build You is a year-long program designed to bring select employees from stability into self-sufficiency through 5 6-week workshops and ending with a 6-week paid externship at another business, which we call our partner employers, in a field that employee is interested in. Souci Build You is an incredible opportunity for our employees to build up their skills and invest in their lives. And over the course of 1 year, participants take 5 6-week workshops in the areas of personal development, communications, computer literacy, career exploration, and finance. They end with that 6-week externship with our partner employers, but they still remain paid by Souci. And really a good way to think about Souci Build You is like building a house. The first part of the employee development program focuses on getting employees from crisis to stability by removing those barriers, and which helps build a strong foundation. Souci Build You is designed to help employees get from stability to self-sufficiency. Each workshop they complete is like adding a wall and a roof, and eventually they have a solid foundation and a skill set as they enter a life and career outside of Souci. At last year's annual meeting, we announced that we were holding a kickoff event in July 2022. If you were at the kickoff, you know that it was a really fun event. It was a jamming playlist, a build your own breakfast bar, and impactful speeches in front of nearly 100 community members with representatives from many different sectors of our community. During this event, we gave employees the option to apply for the Souci Build You program, and we were thrilled to accept 5 employees into this program. And since that day, it has been a whirlwind of a year, both for Souci and our 5 participants. These 5 individuals were brave and courageously took their first steps into investing in themselves. In August of 2022, all 5 participants first attended orientation, which was filled with fun, good conversation, and I think their favorite part, which was going to get some Mexican food. They then started their first workshop, which was finance. So representatives from First Financial Bank and Central Credit Union graciously led this workshop. And that taught employees all about banking basics, investing, loan types, and even topics like scams and how to avoid them. After the completion of the finance workshop, participants then began the communications course, which I think was a fan favorite for everyone, which was led by Professor James Boldman from Ivy Tech, and where they learned about communication styles, why do we communicate, and appropriate methods for resolving conflict. After a holiday break, the program resumed in January 2023, when the participants would then spend the next 12 weeks at McDowell Education Center to participate in 2 workshops, starting with computer literacy. This workshop taught them computer basics and Microsoft Office products, which included creating and presenting a PowerPoint for the first time. After computer literacy, participants then entered the 6 weeks of career exploration at McDowell, where participants learned about career options, built a resume, and practiced their interviewing skills. Finally, our participants then spent 6 weeks in personal development, which was taught by Kyle Hendricks, and in this workshop, they learned about their strengths, weaknesses, personality types, and their personal leadership philosophy. And now that our participants have completed all of their workshops, last week they began their externship, which again is either a 6-week placement with a partner employer or is the option to continue their education or training. And I'm pleased to inform you that we have found opportunities for all 5 of our participants. And just last week, they started to prepare to leave the Souci nest to join that real-world workforce. And we are thrilled that 3 of our participants have found such incredible placements at Overhead Door, Omega Management Group, and Eastside Veterinary Hospital. And that 2 of our participants will be continuing their training through either online programs or with Everyday Excellence with our very own Coach Rick. And at the completion of these externships, our employees will graduate the program next month. And we cannot thank our workshop instructors, our externship partners, enough for their willingness to invest in this program by offering these opportunities, offering the on-the-job training. And I would really like to just take a moment to thank those externship partners, our workshop instructors, and congratulate the 5 participants. 4 years ago, we had a vision of creating a program that would help our employees not just be stable, but self-sufficient. And back then, our conference room looked a lot like this. It was covered in sticky notes, filled with ideas. And as a committee was forming around this idea, we started to determine who the key players were and what next steps we would need to take to make this vision a reality. And the one thing that was crystal clear was that we were going to need a lot of community support for this program to be successful. We knew that we would need those workshop instructors, externship partners, financial support, and honestly, this made us worry as we started to think about the details of all of that. Souci, as many of us know, is French, and it means without worry. And it's kind of funny because here we were all worried that we weren't going to get the support that we needed. But we should have never worried. We serve an awesome community. And that community has chosen to invest in Souci. They've chosen to invest in our Build You program. And because of that investment, we've been successful in our first year of Souci Build You. And these 5 individuals, they're now on a lifelong path of self-sufficiency. They're on a lifelong path of achieving their dreams and, just beginning a lifelong journey of investing in themselves. So thank you for investing your time to come here today. And as I conclude, it's my pleasure to introduce one of our own, Daniel Kelsey, who has been a part of the Souci Build You program this past year, and he is going to share about his personal investment journey with a presentation that he made during the computer literacy workshop. Thank you again.
All right, thank you, Courtney. A little bit about myself. Like Courtney said, my name is Daniel Kelsey. I'm 27 years old, and I'm originally from Columbus, Indiana. A little bit about my past. I grew up in a family of addiction. My mom's a drug addict. My dad's an alcoholic. My grandparents were both alcoholics, really on both sides. So it's really kind of ran in my family my whole life. It's really all I've ever known. My drug addiction started when I was 13. My stepmom started giving me meth. Started getting high together. I was smoking weed before that. But whenever I started getting high, I started getting more trouble at school. I've always kind of struggled in school, but I started getting in a lot more trouble then. Really, I didn't think school was for me at the time. So I dropped out by the time I was 16. I didn't think school had any purpose for me. By the time I was 18, I made it a couple of days after my 18th birthday before I got arrested. Really, I spent more birthdays and Christmases and holidays in jail than I did in the free world from the time I was 18 until I was 26. I was more comfortable in jail, really. I know everybody in there and I'm used to it. So in 2019, I got arrested again and I got put into the work release program. Well, I came to San Souci to get clothes because I didn't have anything. Whenever I came into San Souci, I was actually wearing jail-issued flip-flops and a jail red shirt. It's because whenever I got arrested, I actually got arrested in my boxers. So, yeah, they couldn't let me out like that. So, whenever I came to San Souci, I came for what I thought was just going to be clothing vouchers. But whenever I got there, Brad actually walked past me in the office, and he asked me and the other guy that was there with me if I wanted a job, and we were like, yeah, it'll get us out of work release. I didn't know what I was in for whenever I said, yeah, I'd come to work. So I started the very next day. I started. Things were going good. I made it seem like I really wanted help and wanted to do good, but I was really just trying to get a job so that way work release would get off my butt and wouldn't really worry about me. I started doing good. I was going to a couple meetings here and there, and they finally let me out of work release and put me on house arrest. Well, whenever I was out on house arrest, San Souci started working with me to get my license back. I got my license back, and then Cheryl told me about the HSE program, and I went through the HSE program, and I finally got my high school equivalency. I started out at the back door whenever I came to San Souci, and after I got my license back, they did promote me to the truck driver, which is really cool. I got to go around and pick up stuff and be out in the community. I was doing pretty good then. I ended up saving up enough money to purchase a vehicle, but unfortunately, right after I purchased the vehicle, I got off of house arrest, and my addiction snuck back up because I had freedom again. I was only on probation, so my freedom, I thought I could do what I want, and I relapsed. I thought I was hiding it pretty good because whenever you're an addict, you don't think anybody knows you're high, but everybody can tell, trust me. So I got up to come to work one morning, and I got high right before I left the house. And on the way to work, I actually fell asleep while I was driving. I got pulled up, and there was actually 3 cops coming towards me whenever I fell asleep. What's the coincidence of that? But I went to jail that day, and I got out in 48 hours. And as soon as I got out, I came straight to San Souci. And I was begging them. I was like, please, can you guys help me get to rehab? And again, I made it seem like to them it's because I wanted help. But really, it was just so that way my probation officer couldn't put a warrant out for me to revoke me right then. I went to the rehab. I'd done okay there, and I got out. And I thought, whenever I was in the rehab, I thought I wanted to change. But I think I was out a total of 3 hours before I was getting high again. So I got high that night. The next day I went back, and Cheryl let me come back to work that day. I wasn't high that day whenever I came back because I was trying to keep it like where I was only getting high at nighttime, but I'm a drug addict. That's not gonna work for me. I came back, and it wasn't too long after that Cheryl realized that I was just lying and I was getting high. You could tell by my actions, the way I acted, and just who I became. So on December 27th of 2020, Cheryl had to let me go. It was for the best. There was other employees there in recovery, so I couldn't be there all high and triggering other people. I didn't make it too long after after Cheryl let me go. I was overdosing every week. I was getting in trouble. And at that time, COVID was still a big thing. Like, I know it still is, but COVID was really bad then. So, like, the only thing you had to do is call your probation officer and tell her that you had to go get a COVID test, and she wouldn't make you come in for a month. So I kept doing that. I was like, yeah, this is working great for me. Until finally she's like, well, I don't care. You're going to come into the Sally Port and take a drug test for me. And I was like, oh, no, I got to go take a test right now. And she put a warrant out for me because I refused to come. After they put the warrant out, I didn't last very long, and I got arrested again. Whenever I got arrested, I was in there for a total of a year this time. They evaluated me for the REALM program, which is Recovery Enables a Life for Men. And I didn't want to change at first, but in the REALM program, you're in class 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So even if you don't want to learn, you're going to start picking up on something. You don't have a choice. Whenever I was in there, something clicked with me, and I decided I actually wanted to change. So I started taking the classes serious. I started actually doing the homework, because we had homework every single day. We took 5 classes a day, and we had homework in every single class. So I completed the 6 months in portion of it, and then I was able to go to the aftercare portion, which is 6 months house arrest. And I got approved to go to the ASAP Sober Living House, which I spent a total of 11 months there. The day that I got out of the in portion of it, I came back to St. Susie, and Cheryl let me come back to work again because she knew I'd been through that program. But this time I wasn't just going to be able to tell her, like I actually had to show her. So at that time I was doing 9 meetings a week. I was going to a meeting every day of the week. Some days I was going to a meeting twice a day. And plus all the stuff that ASAP Sober Living had me doing on top of it. Plus I had to call a number every single day to see if I had to go take a drug test. And Cheryl knew that I was actually trying this time, so she worked around my schedule. Like, if I needed to go to an extra meeting that day, she let me leave early. If I had to leave and go take a drug test, they did it without even questioning me. I couldn't have done that anywhere else. I couldn't have went to a factory and like, hey, I got to go take a drug test, or hey, I need to go to a meeting, and then let me do it. Cheryl and St. Susie as a whole really cares about everybody, and they wanted to help me, and they seen that I was actually trying to get the help this time. So she allowed me to do that. I completed the second portion of it, and I graduated the REALM program. And at that time, I was doing really well, and I was actually proving myself. So Cheryl did offer me the position of the assistant operations supervisor, and I gladly accepted it. I was working with Brad quite a bit. He was just teaching me everything along the way, and things were going good. I stayed in ASAP an extra 5 months after that, until finally I moved into a home with my family, which that was really new. I'd never really had a family setting before. We always lived in trap houses or something like that. So being in a family setting is different. I'm not used to having kids around. I'm used to just doing what I want to do, but now I got 2 little mean kids running around. But I honestly wouldn't change it for the world. In 2022, they brought up the St. Susie Build You program. I applied for it and I got accepted. And really, I took something away from every single class. The finance class, we started taking it, and I've never tried to do anything with my credit or retirement. My retirement was a bag of heroin. I was going to sell that bag of heroin, and then I'd make some money and go buy some more. That was my retirement plan. But now, thanks to going through the class and learning about it, I've actually got a retirement plan set up. Like, I've got something set up for my future. And also, I was able to go purchase a new truck. It's not brand new, but it's new to me, and I'm very happy with it. But without taking these classes, I don't think I would have been able to, or I could have, but I wouldn't never knew the steps to take. The next class was communications, which I do agree communications was very fun. James made an awesome class. James taught me quite a bit in that class. The first thing is I really don't have a filter. I say what is on my mind, whether it's going to hurt your feelings or not. And I've done a lot of time incarcerated, so I cuss a lot. We're in there with 50 dudes. That's how we talk. But James taught me that I probably need to give myself a 10-second buffer, because the first thing I say is probably either going to hurt your feelings or get me in trouble. So that's really helped me a lot. To this day, it has. After that, we took a computer literacy class. I knew how to turn a computer on. That was about it. But I actually made this PowerPoint in the computer literacy class. Something I never done. For you guys that work with computers, it's like, oh, we made a PowerPoint. But for somebody who's never messed with a computer, I felt it was pretty good. After that, we went to career exploration. I learned a little bit about myself in there. If you guys know me, you know it's hard for me to sit still, so I can't really work in an office or something like that. So as the results came back, it said that I'd be good either in some type of construction or working with my hands, and I agree with that because I couldn't just sit in front of a computer or anything like that. No offense to anybody that does, that's just not me. I can't sit still for that long. Then we took the personal development class. In there, I really learned, like, I cannot focus on all the negative stuff in life. I have to focus on everything positive that is going on. And that's really helped me a lot. You know, I've been told that a lot, but actually doing it is a different thing. And now I'm currently in my externship. Something about the externship, you know, I've got a lot of felonies on my record. I've been arrested numerous times. So not just any company is going to be willing to take me in. And Cheryl and everybody on the board, they actually had to work really hard on finding somebody that would accept me. Because whenever they look at my record, they're like, oh, I don't want this guy around here. I'm going to take him back. But Cheryl and them worked really hard, and they finally found somewhere where I would be working with my hands, where I'm out and about, and I get to move around. And that's that overhead garage door. And I'm really thankful that they did take the opportunity to allow me to come there because I've already learned so much and I'm very grateful for it. It's really a good time. I'm learning more every day that I'm there. I want to thank everybody. The community has invested a lot in me. The community really cares. Without everybody investing in my future, I wouldn't have took the steps to invest in my own future. And thank you guys.
Well, I can't top that. Daniel's done a lot of hard work to get where he's at today. I want to thank you for your bravery and for sharing your story. It's very touching, and it's amazing what just a little bit of support can do to help someone to change their lives. As I mentioned earlier, our theme word that we are focusing on is invest. Souci is committed to investing in our employees. Employees like Daniel, we are committed to investing in our community and those who live here. We want to invest deeper in our relationships with community partners and other community agencies. We want to be wise with our donations that are given to us, invest those items and use them as tools for someone's success. Even items that don't sell or can't be sold, we want to invest in creating a better environment by continuing and expanding our recycling efforts. We want to invest in ourselves and raise funds, invest in our leadership team, invest in our building growth needs, and of course, invest in our community and our employees. But it is going to take an entire community to invest in us for these goals to happen. It takes a community to invest in our organization to create a long-term stability for Souci. It takes a community to invest in our organization to make stories like Daniel's and my story possible. Our promise to you is to always carry out our mission where we help everyone to live life without worry. And we hope that you will join our organization and that you will invest your time by volunteering. You will invest your goods to our organization. You will invest your skill sets by serving on one of our committees. That you will invest financially to support our efforts, or that your business will invest by sponsoring and partnering with our programs. There are so many ways that you can support Souci, and I know just by looking around this room, there are board members, employees, donors, shoppers, community partners, and volunteers. And just know how much we value each and every one of you. And we could truly never thank you enough for helping us help others live life without worry. I want to thank Ivy Tech for allowing us to utilize this beautiful space. I'd like to do a special thank you to Christy House and Courtney Faust for setting all this up for the last 2 weeks of running around and doing all kinds of stuff to pull this off. Thank you, ladies. You are welcome to socialize a bit longer, grab a cupcake if there's any food left out there, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.